Tell us a little bit about yourselves and your faith story.
I guess as far as my faith journey started as a child. I was raised in a home. We went to church every Sunday. I've never really not gone to church.
For me, I guess I was a little less with the family growing up, going to church every day. We, I think, went periodically around, busy schedules and stuff like that. I think I went a little bit more than my family. I always had that kind of desire to have that relationship with God. So I remember going to church with my next door neighbor, and I remember going to church with my softball coach who lived, a few miles up the road and things like that. So something that I enjoyed, and as I got older, I was much more intentional with trying to go and be there. And then as we got married, we started trying to go and make sure that that was a priority in our family. And then as we had kids, we made sure that we were at church every Sunday, because we want them brought up in a house where faith is priority.
And what's funny, the way we started at Cornerstone, we moved to Auburn back in 2011, and we started, trying out different churches, and we, growing up Baptist, we started with the Baptist churches, and we started going around, and our son was about 6 months old at the time when we moved.
When we first moved, yeah.
And so for the first 6 months or so, we tried different ones, but he never really adjusted well. It was always, every Sunday it just wasn't.
Yeah, they give you the code, so they would put our code up, and we'd have to go get him out because he was having a fit in the daycares or nurseries. And
so every day, we would drive by here going to take him to daycare, and he got to where he was asking, what building is that? What building is that? And so we'd come by here and say, what building is that? And he said, that's Jesus' house. And so, this became Jesus' house. So one day, I think they said, well, let's just try it and see. We always call it Jesus' house. Maybe it is, So we came, and from the first time we came to Cornerstone,
he walked right in.
He walked right in the room. There's never been another tear, or.
We kind of moved away for a couple of years and came back. And so when I made a job change, we had the opportunity to move back to Auburn, and we prayed about it and thought about it. And we really felt like, for whatever reason, we didn't know that God was just pulling us back to this area and to this church. And so we
made the commitment then when we came back that once we moved back, that we would invest ourselves in the church. We would, try to get active in the groups. We'd try to help service
and reach out in the community,
right.
and really.
That was a commitment we made as a family to start doing that.
So we know how y'all ended up here. How have you been engaged in the ministry of Cornerstone since y'all have been here and been pretty plugged in?
Well, for me, I know for a little while I did, during the week I would do the nursery for Sundays and stuff like that. And then recently I've gotten involved with coming in during the week some, when they need me, to do some prep work for the children's ministry for Sundays and other days as needed.
I guess it's, from my perspective, I went a couple of years ago, I did a service day with ARM. And so I got on their mailing list. And then after Hurricane Michael hit Florida, they had a training for a team leader through UMCOR. And so I had reached out, I think, to Pat, and had asked about, if we had anybody that was interested, or if we'd done it. He said, well, the church had a desire to do it, but they needed somebody to kind of engage in it and, refresh the training. As it happened, after I completed the training, we had the event, the tornadoes in Beauregard back in March. With it being this close to home, if we don't do something now, when are we going to do it?
As opportunities come available, we just try to get involved, and then try to get our kids involved.
Right. And that's one thing too, is we try to look for opportunities that we can engage our kids. And so what we've tried to do as a family is to find opportunities for our kids to serve. And so what we try to do is, even if it's, we've done a service day here where we put wood chips out on the playground, just any way that we can involve them in the work that either that we're doing or the church is doing, because they're going to learn what you teach them, and you can choose to teach them or somebody else will. But, you know, the opportunity to serve, you know, it's doing something for someone that doesn't benefit you in any way. And, you know, when you go back to the Bible where, you know, Jesus washes his disciples' feet, that didn't benefit him at all, but it was the gesture of doing something for someone expecting nothing in return.
It's easy to be consumed with ourselves and our families and our activities and
Right.
all of those things, but y'all continue to make it a priority, which is good. Talk a little bit about Kisses for Kayla and Gunner. Like, after he got in a little bit of groove, he was really like taking the lead, and so, you know, what an opportunity for him to step in and lead and show people how to serve. Like, that was, I mean, a lot of people commented on that.
Yeah, well, it's like you talked about. I think once they get engaged in service and they're having those experiences, they start to look forward to it. And so he came here, and he realized that there were steps that everybody had to take when they went through with the Kisses for Kayla. And so he realized that he could help people figure out those steps. And so when someone came in, he came up and greeted them, and he took them to that first station. He's like, this is what you got to do. So, I mean, to me, it's teaching him leadership and stuff like that too, but helping him to learn to communicate with other people, establish relationships in the community. So there's just so many benefits from him, and he talked about it and how much fun he had and stuff. I mean, we are pretty busy. I mean, we both work full-time jobs. We pretty much have both of our kids in sports. It can be a challenge at times to balance everything. I feel like we started where, you know, we try to want to do at least one service event as a family once a month, or Bible study at least once a week together as a family, or stuff like that in addition to church. So how is it that we want to grow our faith? And I think that those are the challenges that we can continue to give ourselves so that we grow with that faith and that service. I mean,
As far as putting service first, I think you have to. Are we successful in always putting it first? And the answer is no. But what you can do is try.
Okay, so I guess it was, I always hate saying this number, 19 years ago, right? That I was in a car accident that left me paralyzed. So just one of those moments that in that second, everything changes. And I was very blessed. Sometimes you don't know it at that moment. To have a boyfriend for like 2 months, if that,
something like that.
And two of the most supportive parents that I could ever imagine, and a brother that was right there the whole time as well, just trying to challenge me to get better. Because I tell people, like, when I was in my accident, like, I couldn't do anything for myself. So I couldn't sit up, I couldn't dress myself, I couldn't bathe myself, I couldn't push myself in the wheelchair. I mean, I was really, really just, you know, kind of a vegetable laying there for a long time. And I was lucky enough that I had some friends that were able to get me into Shepherd Center in Atlanta, which is a fantastic hospital for people with spinal cord injuries and brain injuries. Mm-hmm. And so I started my rehabilitation there and was there for 3 or 4 months. And came out a different person because I couldn't do the same things that I once did. And I think in that situation, you have an opportunity. You can either focus on those things that you can't do anymore, or you can still focus on the possibilities of the future. And I don't think in those moments I necessarily realized how much God was playing in my life. It seemed like that those that had those support systems and those strong faiths were so much more successful in rehab than those that didn't have that. And really the community just rallied around me. I remember coming home, they let me come home a little bit for Christmas for a few days, and when I came home there was a brand new ramp built on our front porch and stuff like that. There you go.
So what are some of the things, Gunnar, you like to do to serve at Cornerstone or anywhere, to volunteer and to help other people?
I like Kisses for Kayla too.
Yeah.
I was one of the
because I also like it since I got the A to kiss.
Tell what you were talking about, Gunnar.
Well, I enjoyed Kisses for Kayla too. It was fun, like telling everybody what to do that thing and how to do it.
So if you guys were gonna encourage other families or other people or other families to make serving a priority, what would you wanna say to them?
I think the biggest thing is, just think about something that you would like to do, and just step out there and try it. Grace.
I loved what you said. I don't even think we were on video when you said, I'm not sure I'm always a good witness, but I know
Right.
I can serve, and I
Right,
can do
yeah.
something. And that's
There's
pretty-
always something you can do to help a person in need.
That's
right.
Well,
That is so true, right there.